Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome back to another episode of Healing Wisdom with me, your favorite realist. I'm gonna done know say sexiest spiritual advisor, Empress Oracle. On behalf of Starseed Galactic Federation, I have been given access to this knowledgeable information from my Akashic records for the purpose of helping humanity. This knowledgeable information has been given directly to me as a divine channel, and any use or reproduction without the proper acknowledgement or accreditation from where it was received will result in instant karma for the plagiarizing parties and or individuals, and so it is. Now that we got that out the way, Shug, let's get to it. I'm pretty sure you saw the title. If not, I'm going to tell you. Today, the title is Ride or Die, or people that will ride with you until you die. I think that a lot of people tend to mistake certain people in their lives as being loyal because they've been with them through highs and lows, or whenever something bad is going on in their lives, that person is always there. So a lot of times people mistake that as loyalty. However, at some point, everybody should take a step back and reevaluate exactly what's going on in their life, why it's going on, and who is around when it is going on. Because unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to see it, but a lot of times, the people who are always there when shit goes bad, they might be the cause of it. A lot of times, the ones that are always there, they might be acting as monitoring spirits just to make sure that you don't reach your goal. You know, there's a saying, you are who you hang with. And unfortunately, I remember when my mom and everybody used to tell me that when I was younger. I used to be like, no, you just don't get her. You just don't get him. You don't understand them. But you live and you learn, and then you realize, sometimes you have to step back and you have to ask yourself questions. Sometimes you have to take a step back and you have to look at yourself from a third person point of view, right? And you have to be honest with yourself. And not only just look at yourself, but you have to look at your surroundings and who it is that is around you. Sometimes you have to connect the dots on your own. People don't want to do the mental work that it takes to grow. People don't want to do the mental work that it takes to create healthy boundaries. People don't want to accept sometimes the writing that's on the wall. And that is a form of self-sabotage, and people need to realize that, okay? Sometimes it's okay to be alone. Unfortunately, it seems in this day and age, a lot of people are afraid to be alone, and they would rather surround themselves with people who do not mean them well than to take the time to heal, to go within, to figure out exactly what it is that they want to do, and where they are going. I understand a lot of people are here and they don't feel as though they have a purpose, or they don't know what their purpose is. But I'm going to tell you, you will never find what that is surrounded by snakes and enemies. You will never find out what your purpose is surrounded by people who have no purpose or who are not looking to better themselves. I understand sometimes, comfort is key. And a lot of times people stay around people that they know are negative and toxic because they're used to them. They don't want to start over. They're comfortable. They feel as though they know that person. And something that I have come to see a lot, I have seen many people who knew that, they lived by the saying, keep your enemies close. And so that they knew that their right or left hand man was secretly their enemy. But to them, they figured, okay, let me keep my enemy close. That way I can keep an eye on them. So I'll know when they're trying to sabotage me. I know all their moves. I study them. They wouldn't do that. They're not that smart, X, Y, and Z. But the same way that you've observed that person's actions is the same way that they have observed yours. Nobody is as stupid as they appear to be, because unless you suffer from severe mental retardation, I'm here to tell you, people learn through observation. People watch people's patterns and habits, and people, they will set you up. How many times, especially of late, are we seeing people who are getting killed by people that they thought were friends from not listening to their intuition, their God-given intuition at that? If you're not listening to God's voice, what are you going to listen to? Exactly. If you don't know how to have discernment, not just with yourself, but with the people around you, the people you keep closest to you, the ones who are supposed to be your friends, how are you going to help yourself? There's no way that you can be surrounded by negativity and be the bright light and think that your light is going to stay as bright. Your light is going to get dimmed. It's going to drain you. Instead of putting that energy towards productivity and being successful, you're putting that energy into defending yourself around people who are supposed to be loved ones, around people who are supposed to be friends, right? That is weird and that is odd. It's sickening to see the amount of people who do everything together and really don't even like each other. But they've just gotten so comfortable that they'd rather stay in that negativity than go and see what else is out there in the world. And that's sad. That's very sad, because this is a big world at a small world at the same time. But you never know what's out there for you, right? A lot of people are surrounded by people who, because of their low vibration, because of their lack of ambition, because of them being comfortable in toxic or negative environments, they have spirits attached to them. Whether you're a spiritual person or not, you have to understand it's real, it's true. It doesn't matter if you believe it. The proof is in the pudding. You see people walking around like they're possessed. Those people, you're hanging with a friend, and as soon as you say something that you want to do positive, or you say something you want to do that's different from the norm, say you guys, all you do is just drink and smoke all day, and one day you're sitting there, you're talking to your friend, and you tell them you want to go try to do something different, and all of a sudden their whole energy changes. They get snippy. They start saying things, trying to plant seeds of self-doubt. Those people have spirits attached to them, spirits of jealousy, spirit of contention, right? Spirit of self-doubt while they're trying to plant those seeds into you. And you need to be aware, because a lot of times people are just letting things go over their head. They're not paying attention to what people are saying. It's to the point nowadays where people are so brazen and so bold that they will blatantly tell you that they don't want you to do good. They will blatantly try to sabotage you. And people are choosing to turn a blind eye to their own demise. Is that really how you want to live? Because at the end of the day, once you go back and you start replaying the situations in your head, you're the fool. You're going to look stupid, because I guarantee you, when it happened, it probably took you back. In your head, you were saying, that's odd. But did you do anything? Did you go back around that person? And that's why they were able to sabotage you. Sometimes we pay loyalty to the wrong people and things to our detriment. And it's not okay, because this world is hard enough. We have people trying to sabotage us left and right, especially if you're a person of color. But to sabotage yourself, to betray your own self for loyalty to people that you know really don't give a fuck about you, that is a mental illness. That's insane. You can never prove your worth to somebody who does not want to see it. What I see a lot, especially in men, and they try to act like they don't do it, but the same way that people always say that women are very male-centered, there are a lot of male-centered men out here who would rather try to prove themselves to other men to their own detriment than to do what's right, because it's not going to look cool. And then at the end of the day, those same men are taking those ideas and doing them behind closed doors to get themselves ahead. So what do you owe these people? Who are you trying to impress? Who are you trying to impress? If all of you guys are still in the same place 5 years later, all of y'all are bums. Who are you trying to impress? One bum trying to impress the other. That's crazy. One toxic person trying to impress the other. That's crazy. One fake flexer trying to impress the other. That's crazy. Crazy. Y'all need to stop. I'm tired of seeing it. And then bashing people who know that the only true ride or die you have at the end of the day is yourself. And if you can't even be true to yourself, you are fucked. Okay? You can't even do that for yourself. That's crazy. Especially, I have notes, y'all. So if I look down, I'm looking at my notes, okay? Especially when you are chosen and have a particular divine calling, the devil will place people on your path that will pose as friends or lovers in order to block, delay, or completely take you off of your path. And a lot of people don't realize that. I'm going to tell you, there's no rush. If you're building something with somebody, there's no rush. There's no rush. Take your time. A lot of times people are jumping into these relationships because they're lonely, not realizing that person was sent to stop you or block you. One thing I always say is when you've just started being successful, that's when the devil will send you what you like to tempt you. I've seen it all the time. People headed to college on scholarships, all of a sudden they meet a girl get pregnant, they throw away their whole future. Next thing you know, the girl's a whore, she's cheating, the baby's not theirs. Who said, even if you do decide to be with somebody, who said you cannot still fulfill your dreams? If you get with somebody and they make you give up your dream, they are not for you. They are not. There's no reason why you cannot attain balance in life, whether it's in friendships or personal relationships, intimate relationships. If somebody truly cares about you, they will understand. If somebody truly cares about you, they will not plant seeds of doubts for your dreams. They will try to water your dreams, right? They will give you the inspiration. They'll give you the push. And sometimes they'll even give you that constructive criticism that you don't want to hear, but you need to hear it. That's what real friends do. Real friends don't shoot down your dreams. Real friends, as soon as you tell them something you want to do, no matter how crazy it sounds, their first thing out their mouth is not something negative, it's something positive. Even if they're like, wow, I never even thought you had an interest in that. Tell me more. Even if they're curious. It's sickening to see how many people, you see it all the time, even on social media, people putting themselves out there to fulfill their dreams, trying something new. And as soon as you open the comments, negativity, people shooting them down, planting seeds of doubt. Why? Why? Those are the same people who have been in the same spot for years. And you need to pay attention to that, guys. Why are you listening to people like that? Why are you even entertaining people like that? If the people around you are not supporting your legitimate dreams that you actually can achieve, if you put in the effort, even if you have to go to school for it, if they're not supporting you, they're not for you. That's not your tribe. It's not your place. It's not up to you to try to prove them wrong. That's a waste of energy. You're feeding them your energy that could be better placed into fulfilling your dreams. People, you need to recognize that. You need to recognize that if you call yourself a high value individual, act like it. Like attracts like. Don't let that go over your head. Okay? You have to pay attention to the signs, right? Pay attention to the signs. Like I said, if every time you're around somebody and you tell them something that you want to do, the first thing they say is something negative or no, you can't do that. They try to shoot that like, man, you tripping. Even if they don't directly say, oh, you cannot do that, they're planting the seeds of doubt. They're making you question your decision when you know there's a possibility it could go well, even if it's not 100% guaranteed. Even if you never did it before, but something inside you is calling to do that, and the first thing they do is try to, shoot that down to put, seeds of doubt. I don't give a fuck who they are. I don't care if they came out of your vagina. They're a hater. You know how I know? I've had haters that came out of my vagina. No pun intended. Anyway, yeah. Say the prayer, guys. Say the prayer. Say the prayer. Y'all know what prayer I'm talking about. The prayer to ask God to show you who is who and what is what. The prayer to remove people from your life who don't mean you the best. Yes, you will be surprised who goes. It will hurt. You might cry. But once you done crying, you better get the fuck back up, bitch. You hear me? Get up. Because it's for a reason. That's dead weight. That might be what's been delaying your path, your purpose. And God always has something, someplace, somewhere, someone better. You just have to believe. People have no faith. They would rather stick with the bad, with the toxic, because they feel as though, hey, we've been friends since kindergarten. Y'all been friends since kindergarten, and they chasing behind some bitch they just knew for 6 months, hyping her up, ignoring you, not there for your important events. Are they really your friend? Are they? Don't. What? Don't get mad at me. I'm just saying. I'm just pointing it out, sister. You know that bitch don't like you. Move around. Don't be afraid to cut the cord. Sometimes you might actually have to do a cord cut. And if you feel like you have soul ties with somebody, y'all done red lights together. You guys done had sexual ties together. The sex is just holding you. The only reason why you're there is because of the makeup sex, right? Cut the cords. It's for the best. Those same spiritual cords are what's holding you back in the physical world, whether you want to believe it or not. You say, oh no, they would never do that to me. But yeah, they've done it 12 times in 12 different ways that you've noticed, but chose to act like you didn't. To be Ray Charles to the bullshit. You think they're not smart enough, but yet they over here blatantly underhanded to you, to your face. And you just keep telling yourself, nah, I'm tripping. Are you tripping? Or are you ignoring your God-given intuition? Huh? How many times are you going to ignore the signs? How many times is God going to point out to you like, hey, look at that, and you ignore the signs? Eventually he's going to be like, all right, well, shit, fuck it. And then when you get betrayed and backstabbed, a lot of people have the audacity to question God. God, why did you let this happen to me? But yet God was showing you the signs the whole time, pointing shit out the whole time. And then you have the goddamn audacity to question God after that? You're just as fucked up as the individual that fucked you over. Whether you want to believe it or not, Suge, I said it. Right? Remove yourself from people. If you feel like you can't, let's just say you have court-ordered visitation, right? There's ways to get around that. Create healthy boundaries. Do like that guy that's going viral right now, and drop off your kid at the police station. You don't have to do extra. You don't have to flaunt your new girlfriend around them. You don't have to let them see that you're doing better without them. Why does that matter? Why does that matter? People are so busy trying to prove themselves to the wrong people who at the end of the day, that shit don't fucking matter. That's why I try to tell people, stop going back. Stop going back. How many celebrities have died because they went back to prove to people who are down there in the hood that they made it? Why do you feel like you have something to prove to people who can't even do good for themselves, who don't even want better for themselves? You feel like you're stunting on people like that? To your demise. I'm just saying. Some people don't even know that they're being used as blockages or deterrents for people while they're on the path to better themselves. Believe it or not, there are some people that are so ignorant, they're so low vibrational, they're so used to people around them self-sabotaging, talking them down, that they don't even realize that they've become one of those people. They don't even realize that they have become one of those people, right? They're so used to being that low vibration. They're so used to being around that. They swear that they're different, but slowly but surely they've become one of those people also. Even if they don't do it to the people in their circle, they go and they meet new people and they exhibit those toxic traits to the new person and then wonder why they can't make new friends. And then run back to the same old toxic environment due to comfort. That is settling. It's a trap. that saying, birds of a feather stick together, I'm trying to tell you, you know, if you are the one light surrounded by darkness, you know what's going to happen? It's going to drain your light. You cannot grow in a negative, low vibrational, unambitious, non-positively function environment. I don't give a fuck who you are. A lot of people want to challenge God. A lot of people want to challenge facts, real life, to their own detriment, trying to prove the wrong people wrong, and they end up dying. They end up stuck. You have nothing to prove to people who really don't mean you well. You have nothing to prove to them. Your success is the best way to shit on people. Not going backwards. Not going back to what hurt you. That's insane. If you hang around 6 millionaires, eventually you'll be the 7th, right? The same way as if you continue to hang around people who self-sabotage, eventually, if they don't self-sabotage you, you'll self-sabotage yourself. And you won't even realize it. You won't even realize it until it's too late. And don't think that they're going to look out for you like a real ride or die and be like, hey, you sure you... No, they're going to watch. And then after you fell off your high horse, after you fucked up that way out, then they'll be like, oh yeah, man, if it was me, I'd never did that, but I just didn't say nothing. Why the fuck you ain't... If they were really your peoples, even if they was down bad and they see that you have a hope, they're going to push you towards that light. They're not going to try to drag you down. The people who say something after the fact, those are not your friends. They lack accountability, and they don't want you to have any either. Ride or dies don't do that. Those are the people that are trying to ride until you die. There is a difference. Trying to lift them up will bring you down, because that's called dead weight. And you know who dead weight is. We always know who the dead weight is. It's just sometimes due to the proximity of the relationship you have with them, because you're so close to them, because it might be your mother, it might be your best friend, it might be your lover. You just don't want to see it until it's too late. And then at that point, the only person you have to blame is yourself. Because they damn sure, you know what they're going to say? Shit, you did that. I ain't tell you to do that. Shit, I ain't tell you to do that. Sometimes you have to be real with yourself before it's too late. Don't let that message go over your head, guys. I know it's kind of long, but you know, it was divinely channeled, and I hope that this message reaches to who it needs to. Good luck. Reevaluate your circle. I love you.